Hey my friends, welcome to our English lessons. Today's story is called True Justice. Let's listen to the story. True Justice, a king's wisdom that healed a soul. Justice is not only about punishment, it is about giving a heart the courage to rise again. Sometimes the greatest strength of a ruler is not in the sword, but in the mercy to guide a lost soul home. True justice doesn't break people, it helps them rebuild. A kingdom known for wisdom long ago, in the flourishing kingdom of Shikapa, lived a king whose name was spoken with admiration far beyond his borders, King Akmayuk. People traveled from distant lands to seek his counsel. Why? Because his justice went deeper than written laws. He looked beyond actions and into intentions, weighing not only what a person did, but why they did it. One morning, his grand marble courtroom filled with nobles, merchants, and common folk, all eager to witness another display of his wisdom. The two men before the throne, two men stood before the king. The first was Ranvi Pushit, a wealthy and respected merchant whose name was known throughout the kingdom for his honesty and prosperity. The second was Kalarudra, a tired, rough-faced man whom everyone in town knew as a thief. Whispers traveled through the whole, surely the king would give a harsh punishment today. But what followed surprised everyone. Kalarudra stepped forward and bowed low. His voice trembled as he said, "My king, I am a thief. I tried to steal from this man's house. But instead of turning me over to the guards, he offered me a job. He believed I could change." The courtroom fell silent. All eyes were on the thief who had just confessed. A confession of fear. Kalarudra's next words were even more unexpected. "But I am afraid. I do not trust myself. If I live in his house, I might steal again. And then my crime will be even greater, stealing from someone who showed me kindness. Please, your majesty, punish me instead. That would be fair." A murmur swept across the court. This was not the plea of a man looking for escape. It was the plea of a man terrified of his own weakness. Then the merchant stepped forward and spoke with calm conviction. "My king, I believe poverty drove him to steal. If he earns an honest living, he will not need to steal again. I offered him work so he could start over, but he refuses, fearing his past will follow him." The hall grew quiet again. No one knew what kind of judgment could balance such honesty with such fear. A king's thoughtful judgment. King Akmayuk closed his eyes for a long moment. The room was so silent that even the sound of distant birds outside seemed loud. When he finally opened his eyes, there was both strength and kindness in his voice. "Kalarudra, your honesty is rare, and Ranvi Pushit, your compassion is noble. Here is my decision. You will work in the merchant's house for 1 full year without pay. This is not a punishment, it is your path to redemption. If you remain honest for that year, you will receive full wages and the freedom to choose your own future." Gasps echoed across the hall. It was a judgment no one expected, not a sentence of pain, but a chance to heal. Tears welled in Kalarudra's eyes. For the first time in years, he felt something stronger than fear. Hope. The year of transformation. 12 months passed. The seasons changed, from the soft rains of spring to the golden winds of harvest. And during that time, something remarkable happened. Kalarudra worked with steady hands and a humble heart. The merchant treated him not as a servant but as a fellow man, teaching him the trade and trusting him with responsibilities. Slowly, the shadow of his old life faded. When the year ended, he returned to the royal court, but now he looked like a different person. His clothes were clean, his eyes shone with quiet pride, and his shoulders carried dignity instead of shame. He bowed before the king and said, "My king, I worked honestly for a year. The merchant treated me like family. I have not only learned a trade, but also discovered my worth." Ranvi Pushit stepped forward with a smile and added, "Your Majesty, Rudra has not just changed, he has helped my business grow. He is now my most trusted man. I offer him a permanent position with full pay and full respect." The hall erupted in applause. Justice that heals. King Akmayuk's eyes softened with satisfaction. He spoke with quiet strength. Justice is not only about punishment, it is about giving the heart a reason to rise again. "Kalarudra, you are no longer a thief, you are a man of honor." Tears streamed down Kalarudra's face as he whispered a single word that carried the weight of his entire journey. "Thank you." That day, the people of Shikapa witnessed something greater than law. They saw justice that restores, a justice that doesn't just end wrongdoing but heals the soul and gives a person back to themselves. Now let's learn some words and phrases from the story. You can find the new words in the text and you can read the text with these new words. We use this method in our English course. It's really effective if you want to improve your reading skills, so try it after this lesson. Also, don't forget to practice your speaking skills. Find a friend or teacher to talk about the questions we're going to ask you at the end of this lesson. Flourishing adjective. If a business or plant is flourishing, it's growing very successfully. Admiration. Noun. Admiration is a feeling of respect and approval. Prosperity. Noun. Prosperity is a situation of being successful and having a lot of money. Noble adjective. Something that is noble is good and shows high moral standards. Remarkable adjective. Remarkable means very good and unusual. Steady adjective. If you are steady, you are calm and not easily upset. Humble adjective. Humble means having or showing a lot of respect for other people. Convert. Verb. If you convert a person, you change their ideas or behavior. Erupt. Verb. If something erupts, it suddenly bursts and explodes. Comprehension questions. Who is King Akmayuk, and why did people visit him? How did King Akmayuk solve the conflict between Ranvibhushit and Kalaradra? What was Kalaradra's punishment and what did he learn during that year? Now let's practice your speaking skills. Talk about this question with your friend or teacher. What does this story teach you about justice and forgiveness? In this story, the king understood why the thief stole and he gave him a chance to be honest. In our real life, how can we help people make better choices? Okay, friends, our English lesson is finished. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. See you next time.